Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and Michael Arrington retweeted this picture of Brad Garlinghouse in the leprechaun outfit today. Today is St. Patrick's Day. Right now I am not wearing green, but I do intend on putting some green on, and I was just invited to go drink some green beer with friends today. I don't normally drink beer. I'm more of a wine guy and a margarita guy, but I will drink beer. I do make exceptions. If I'm drinking beer, by the way, my favorite is draft beer. If I'm going to drink it, I like drinking draft beer. Let's check in with the official cool guy because the first flare drop did happen today.
First flare.
And it's Friday.
Completed. Might not be worth a lot, but it's happened. First flare airdrop completed. Might not be worth a lot, but it's happened.
It has happened. I checked and I got my first drop this morning as well. Now, I want to make a point here, and it'll kind of come together here as we go forward. Folks, if you've been paying attention, I mean, I literally believe that all of crypto that we've been watching for the past 10 years has been kind of a prototype playground toys. And I think that the cartoon monkeys were for the purpose of testing out tokenization. I think that's what they're really doing, when the objective of all this has always been a couple of things. First, CBDCs. Second, interoperability between CBDCs and the different countries and all of that. And third, and maybe most importantly, the tokenization, the what would the word be? I'll just say it this way. Making liquid all of the asset classes that have not been liquid in history. Anything from real estate. In real estate, you have to go through a real estate closing. It's a tremendous process and all of this. I think that the future is a world where real estate, where you can tokenize the real estate that you own and have it traded on probably local markets, but also global markets. And then tokenizing art, tokenizing anything you can think of, tokenizing contracts, you name it. Everything has a value and it can be represented in a token. I believe there will be a day when we go to an attorney. I'm gonna actually, if one of my sons wants to go to law school, I'm gonna say, listen, you find out, study whatever the topic is going to be called, where tokenization of assets, because I believe there's going to be a lot of people going to closing tables where they are tokenizing their different assets, and they need a lawyer and a bunch of different stuff in order to do that. And that's one of the things I think is going to be huge in the next 20 years. So now look at this. This was Larry Fink's CEO. He's BlackRock, right? This is from James Rule. For the asset management industry, we believe the operational potential of some of the underlying technologies in the digital asset space could have exciting applications. In particular, the tokenization of asset classes offers the prospect of driving efficiencies in capital markets, shortening value chains, and improving cost access for investors. At BlackRock, we continue to explore the digital asset ecosystem, especially areas most relevant to our clients, such as permission blockchains and tokenization of stocks and bonds, folks. That's the holy grail. Let's think about derivatives, folks. Think about all of it, all the money. Then there's this. Look at this tweet. The banking crisis should mean a crypto ban, influential EU lawmaker. If you don't think that these bureaucrats and politicians planned this, and I make the point here, back in the financial crisis, 2008, you didn't hear any of these clowns calling for a ban on Wall Street, because Wall Street created it. Wall Street and the banks created the 2008 financial crisis, but you didn't see any of these guys saying, we need to ban Wall Street. Bernie Madoff, we need to ban Wall Street. No, because that's not what this is about. This is an engineered thing to try to clamp down on crypto. And I think that, a lot of people think that all of the things like Bitcoin are sacred. I think if you're lucky, they're going to allow, and I do mean allow, because anybody that thinks that they can't crush Bitcoin or any digital asset that they want to is wrong go. There's a lot of ways to skin a cat, folks, and one of the ways with Bitcoin is through taxation. They could come out and say, oh, well, that's great. You guys are all about your libertarian freedom movement, right? Well, we're going to tax it 99%. Let's see how many people want to own it then. You might feel like you got freedom, but the second they slap that 99% tax on it, away goes the freedom. It won't even be worth owning then. And these people are capable of all of the above too. Then there's this. Interest rates could fuel, let's see what it says here. Interest rates could fuel the shift to a cashless world. And that's from Ian Benz, almost as if it was the plan all along. Now, watch this video. This is from the World Economic Forum. And remember, this girl right here, Neha Narula, she was at MIT with Gary Gensler. Watch this.
In those terms, huh?
See
Thank you. Yes, this is such
if any of this sounds familiar to you.
Topic, interoperability, both in the domestic case, so bringing together your banks and your banking system, but also internationally as well. And so, Governor Yaron, I want to turn to you to discuss interoperability briefly. There's a risk of further fragmenting our payment systems if central banks operate in isolation instead of contributing to a shared foundation of knowledge. And a major issue that requires cooperation is shared standards for interoperability. And as Governor Bellarde indicated, this is an important role for the central bank to play in setting these shared standards. Now, you've engaged in Project Icebreaker, which is a collaboration with Norway and Sweden. And this aims to test near-instant retail CBDC. So we can divide CBDC into retail, which is available to the general public, and wholesale, which is more for financial institutions, but across borders, so retail across borders.
What does that
So can you
sound
share
like?
a little bit about what has been learned here and what are some of the challenges when you try to address interoperability between countries?
All right. First of all, thank you, Nia, for having me here. Maybe before I say something about Icebreaker, I think we're all realizing we're in the midst of a technological revolution in the payment system. And if payments used to be sort of more plumbing, they're affecting the I/O structure of financial services and monetary policy.
Who's been working
and that's
on
why
that?
central banks are there. We are seeing it: faster payments, smart contracts, e-money, crypto assets, stable coins, and CBDC, as you mentioned, is sort of a public good that can be both complementary,
Public good.
but can also to these things, but can also, in some circumstances, crowd out some of these things.
Wasn't the interledger protocol public good?
Some of the advantages have been mentioned: advanced and safe alternative to existing means of payments, ensure the adjustments of payment system to the needs of the digital economy. CBDC could be the gateway to stable coin, which is the gateway to, instead of stable coin, between the new digital economy and the standard economy, and cheap cross-border, which is where your question comes back.
Cheap cross-border. Who has been working on that? I ran across this yesterday. This is from the Wall Street Journal. This is December 29th, 2017. This is literally days before Jay Clayton meets with Andreessen Horowitz after his speech at Stanford to put in motion the Ethereum free pass. This was literally days before that. Okay, I think that happened on January 24th, 2018, or somewhere in there, 24th, 25th. So this is in and I contend, folks, what you're seeing here is the reason that all of these bad guy forces went into motion to create the big, huge lie that we've been living under in digital assets from that day until now, which is that somehow Bitcoin and Ethereum are superior to all other digital assets. It's the biggest lie that's been told in crypto, and this is the reason that they put it in motion. They put it in motion specifically because of XRP's superiority in all aspects. This article was run December 29, 2017. Meet Ripple, the currency that's running laps around Bitcoin. XRP, also called Ripple, is up more than 30,000% in 2017. Folks, make no mistake. It wasn't too long after this that XRP really hit its run, okay? And that's when they started putting up people like Laura Shin to write the Forbes articles about how rich Chris Larson was and all of that. And they did that for a specific purpose, to get the attention of people and to say, see, we can't let this happen. And from that day until today, we've had lawsuits, we've had media FUD, we've had crypto pundits that just don't understand XRP. We've had hedge funds that just happen to be invested in by Andreessen Horowitz and Union Square Ventures, and their guys go out and say, oh, we're shorting XRP because we think there's going to be an SEC lawsuit. We've had media that just you know, the Becky Quick, she just, oh, so you don't get XRP just like me. Isn't that what she said to Mike Novogratz? You had all that stuff. Lawsuits, SEC lawsuit. We've lived through it for the last 3+ years. And all of that was because they knew that XRP would dominate Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's the reason it was put in motion. That's the reason Anthony Pompliano was one of the pundits that he just didn't understand XRP. He played this game for the last 3 years. I'll never forget when he was interviewing Brad Garlinghouse. And Brad Garlinghouse was telling him all this, and at the very end of the interview, Pompliano goes, well, I don't understand. Why couldn't you just use Bitcoin for that? When he knows full well that Bitcoin doesn't do anything compared to what XRP does. But this was Anthony Pompliano back in 2017, before he was activated along with all these other people to act like Bitcoin and Ethereum were superior. He was telling the truth then. If you think Bitcoin went on a tear once CNBC and institutional investors learned about it, just wait till they discover Ripple, XRP. Because see, that's when the truth was being told. And then they went on, it was an organized thing. I'm not saying he was involved in it, but he sure appeared to be. It was an organized machine to tamp down XRP and bring up Bitcoin and Ethereum. Eleanor Terrett knew all of these banks to make uninsured deposits totaling $30 billion into First Republic. So this is another bank that's having problems. And here's what you need to get out of this, folks. These are the banks right here that are in bed with the government because they're sitting around with the government and saying, all right, here's what we're going to need you guys to do. We're going to need you guys to handle these uninsured deposits over at First Republic. And so I'm not a financial advisor, but I can tell you that what I do is I make sure I have a bank account under the $250,000 insured deposit limit at one of these banks. And I told my wife to do the same and to tell her mother and her relatives to do the same, because that's about as safe as you're going to get. Then Stuart Eldar came out and he says government action that has the consequence of depriving legitimate businesses of their rights to bank accounts is a violation of constitutional due process. Community Financial Services Association of America versus FDIC. And what he's talking about is how the government has told prospective buyers of Signature Bank they'll have to agree to drop all crypto business at the bank, which is blatantly illegal for the government to do, okay? But what I say to Stuart Eldar, who is right, is what's the big deal about a violation of the Constitution? If you have people in power who have been violating laws left and right for years, now with nothing but stern letters sent to them from Congress, until some of these corrupt politicians and regulators start going to prison, nothing will change. Folks, I saw the video yesterday. We've got a congressman who literally says that he has bank records showing that the freaking Chinese Communist Party has sent money to the President of the United States family. Folks, there's only one word for this. Starts with a T. I'll let you figure it out. That is the world we live in now. And until things are done about the obvious of what's going on in this country, we are screwed. We live in a mafia-run world now. We don't live in the United States of America that I thought I grew up in. Maybe it was always like that. I don't know. But let me tell you what. what's right is wrong. What's left is right. What's gray is white or black or white or whatever. But there's not anything there's no honor left in this country until people start going to prison. After everything that we uncovered about ETHgate, not only has Jay Clayton not had to answer any questions about it, Jay Clayton's a freaking, I'm assuming, paid contributor on CNBC, and he's called on to talk about the current SEC investigations, because we live in the upside down now. We live in the world where the people who are not committing crimes are the ones that are being gone after by our government. The people who are committing the crimes and doing things illegal, they're held up as upstanding citizens.
Or unusual is it to see a probe such as this opened up into SVB, given the fact that we saw this cataclysmic failure play out so quickly, and then, of course, reports that senior executives had sold stock, albeit maybe pre-planned, but sold stock as this was unfolding?
Well, Morgan,
I can't even listen to it. Jay Clayton is the voice of reason, right? Folks, I just wanted to show you this. I watched the BitBoy had done a show on, he was trying to he said he had uncovered the founder of Shiba Inu, and it reminded me of this clip. Back when we were uncovering ETHgate, this is one of the creepiest clips that I remember coming out from this is Laura Shin. She had written her book, The Cryptopians. And what they're talking about here was a shadow government at Ethereum. There was a couple of people that Vitalik Buterin was scared to even say their names, and she talks about it here. And the reason it came up is because when I was watching BitBoy's Shiba Inu video, I remembered that we tracked it all the way, and these same people, I'm pretty sure, were involved in the founding of Shiba Inu. Listen.
It was fascinating. People would be scared to even mention their names to me. They would be scared to say that they had even just been at an event, not even that they've been doing anything at the event, but just that they've been there witnessing something, historic. So, people were, they seemed frightened of them, which was fascinating. And even, I mentioned this, so I am giving maybe a few spoilers, but when I asked Vitalik about one of them, he whistled, like he was just surprised that I mentioned the name, or just uneasy about it, or I don't know, but that was his response. So
meanwhile, Gary Gensler is going after all the companies where there's no fraud involved, but they're not looking at this at all. Are you freaking kidding me? This is the upside down we live in now, folks, is things where there's obvious shady operations going on. Oh, we ignore that. But we go after people where we're not even making accusations of fraud. Until that changes, and these people in our government that are literally corrupt start going to prison, we live in a it reminds me of the movie The Lion King. At the end, the bad guys took over, and it was dark skies and dark clouds everywhere. And then at the very end, the Lion King defeats them, and all of a sudden the sun started to come out. Well, that's what this country needs. It's time for the sun to come out. I've been hearing for years now that people, the good guys are working behind the scenes, and that all these people will be held to account. I've been hearing that kind of stuff, those kind of whispers. But until it happens, we're literally living through those dark days of the Lion King, because Americans know what's going on. And it's a really spooky country we live in now, I can tell you that. I'm going to finish with this. Ripple partners with Blockchain Founders Fund to accelerate Web3 adoption. That's a good thing. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that I am looking for the sun to come out anytime now.